So first of all, what do we mean when we say storytelling? Storytelling is essentially finding people who benefit from the service you provide that are willing to speak to its value by sharing their experiences. So there's really two ways to think of storytelling. The first is from a business perspective. We can think of storytelling kind of like a business testimonial. Let's say I need a mechanic, right? So I Google mechanics in my area, and the first thing that I look at is what people said about each mechanic because I know I can trust those reviews. So client stories are really key to any business. And then the second way to think about storytelling is on a much more personal level. Storytelling really humanizes your campaign. It puts a face to the name of VITA services and tax credits like the EITC. We all know there's a lot of talk at the policy level about the effectiveness of safety net programs and asset building and so on and so forth. There's research presented and there's statistics, but it's the people like you who actually hear and see firsthand the impact that these programs like the EITC have on the lives of people who collect them. And those are stories that research and statistics can't tell, and that's really powerful. You're lifting up voices that aren't typically heard. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with the story that went viral about a month ago about a Detroit man who walks more than 20 miles every day to get to and from work. And I thought that was a great example of the power of storytelling because a picture of this man walking through the snow appeared in a newspaper article along with a story about his long trek each day because he can't afford a car and he lacks access to reliable public transportation. His story then resulted in a Kickstarter campaign that raised enough money for him to be able to buy his own car. And most people know that those living in poverty in suburban areas have little to no access to reliable transportation, but it was really hearing this man's story that got people motivated to act and do something to help out. So third, we all know that taxes are no walk in the park. They are wonky, they're complicated, and storytelling really helps your audience better understand complex ideas. So, I mean, we may not all understand the phase-in and phase-out structure of the EITC, but almost everyone can wrap their heads around what a huge difference a $3,000 tax refund can mean for a single mother of three. And lastly, storytelling can help to keep VITA alive. So what do I mean by that? I've heard time and time again from so many of my colleagues that work as VITA preparers that the demand for VITA services is at an all-time high, but the resources just aren't there. And storytelling can really help you to approach funders with a compelling reason to support the work that you do. Stories are also extremely attractive to the media. So with all the talk around the EITC and CTC at the federal level this past year, we got a ton of calls from some really big-name reporters who were looking for recipient stories. So if we're fully connected with you all and we know that you have great stories for them on hand, we can point reporters in your direction. Then the more media coverage that you get, the more visibility your services will get, and the more funders will want to support your work.